Hi, my name is Dan, and today we're going to talk about FDA Nutrition Facts Label Regulations. This information is current as of May 14th, 2013. The audience is for those who are selling food items in the United States. For the regulations, a good starting point is the FDA guidance document, and in this document, it talks about the food regulations, but it's a general overview with a table of contents and a nice Q&A section. For the regulations detail, there's actually a detailed one where it lists each regulation line by line, and you can look at this if you have questions about a specific rule. The last one talks about an ingredient list and allergen regulations. For any further regulations, we ask that you check your local, state, county regulations for any more rules. Now, could you do it yourself? You could, but it's rather laborious. What you would have to do is implement every regulation stated previously, implement every graphic rule, every ingredient list and allergen, and write the algorithms to calculate the data. To say the least, we advise to use a third party to generate the label. Now, what is the nutrition facts label? The label consists of three primary components: the label, the ingredient list, and the allergen statement. Do you need a label? Two notable exemptions are for small businesses. If you have gross food sales less than $50,000, you don't need a label, and you don't make any nutrition claims, or you serve food in restaurants. Also, state and local county rules may be in play, but you have to make sure to check how it plays with federal law. Now, there are many benefits of having a food label. Even if you're exempt, you should consider having one. Having a label provides legitimacy for a food product. For example, customers are often trained to look at a food label even though they do not read it. So a customer may look at your package and just turn it around. And if that food label isn't there, they don't see that familiarity that they see in other packages. The second thing is having a label gives you a data point for sales. So knowing how many calories and nutrients can help you do demographic targeting. So for example, if you're to make some type of workout bar and it's 200 calories, you would actually maybe want it to have higher calories because for those who go hiking may need those calories. On the converse, if you are soliciting a health product for a health conscious market, you want to make sure that those calories may be a little bit lower and perhaps higher in fiber. And of course, having an allergen statement ensures your customers are safe. Now, a label is actually generated a lot with the help with the USDA Standard Reference 25. This is actually a database provided by the USDA. And what the USDA did is they have these scientific labs where they burn food and they do extractions. So they may have an apple and they may burn it, and with a calorimeter they would extract how many calories and figure out how many vitamin A, C, etc. At the end of the day, the USDA and other private labs have done a lot of this work, and it's typically in database files. One of the key things that most people don't know is you do not need to actually submit your food to a lab. What you need is your food composition, and then you can generate the label based off of that. The nutrition facts label has several components on here, and we'll go over each in the next. The first part is a serving description. The serving description, under the first line, it has something called serving size, and the serving size is what is one typical serving someone would eat. So for example, if your package or you were selling cookies and you had a large cookie, you might say one typical serving is one cookie. Or if you have hot sauce or ketchup, you may say that one typical serving is 1 tablespoon. If you're unsure about what one typical serving is, take a look at an existing food package of a similar product you have and just reference that. The second thing is the servings per container. This asks how many servings are in your container. So if you have one serving, which is one cookie, and you have 12 cookies, your servings per container would be 12 cookies. The second part of the label is macronutrients. As you see here, there are a couple parts to it. It starts off with calories and then lists some of the things like total fats, cholesterol, sodium, total carbohydrates. So you notice on the left side, you'll see weights like grams and milligrams, and the right side is daily value. The daily value percentage is something established by the FDA that states that this is the percentage of the nutrient you're allowed to have of the day. So if I consume 1 cup of whatever this product is, I will have consumed 20% of the fat that I'm allowed for the day. The next thing here is you'll notice that there are optional macronutrients such as polyunsaturated fat, monounsaturated fat, and potassium. So let's say if you have something with like avocados and you have a high polyunsaturated fat amount, you actually would want to include that because that would be a health benefit to those who are conscious of eating a healthy product. The next thing is micronutrients. Micronutrients consist of trace vitamins and minerals. As you notice here, what's different is there are no gram or weights. There's only a daily value percentage. For labeling, there are only 4 that are required: vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron. And everything else is optional, from vitamin D to manganese. Now, if you happen to have something that has some micronutrients like a lot of vitamin B6, then we recommend that you include it if it helps your entire profile. The next part is nutrition description. This talks about just some basic nutrition facts. This is static information, and this doesn't change. The last part is an ingredient list and allergen list. For the ingredient list, it has to be sorted in terms of the heaviest and the lightest. So in this example, flour is the heaviest, but the sugar being the least heavy. Also, below that, you have to do an allergen list. So you see, these are the allergens right here. If you have flour, for example, you would say it contains wheat. Now, for allowed label types, the USDA allows 4 label types here, and we'll go through each in the next slides. The first type is the vertical label, and this is the most standard type of label. And you want to use this if it fits in your package. So examples are jars and boxes. The next one is a long tab label, and these are good for packages that are more horizontal than vertical. And a good example is candy packages. The third one is a short tab label. It's similar to the last one, but you notice that the nutrition description is dropped and the nutrients are abbreviated. The last one is a linear label, where it's good for small packages, but you notice that the formatting is kind of hard to read. And try to avoid this as customers will have a hard time trying to see what nutrients are in there. At the end of the day, there's some very specific rules like how many inches of packages are to allow certain labels. But the general rule of thumb is the bigger the label size in your package, the better. So what do you need to generate a label? First off, you need an ingredient breakdown of your recipe. In this example, we have walnut cookies, and you can see each ingredient is broken down. So one's butter without salt, sugar, and eggs. And you'll see that things are listed in grams, like 141 grams, 88 grams, 63 grams of eggs. Some third-party label tools allow you actually to have some selecting items. So if you say 2 apples, you can actually select 2 apples. But at the end of the day, if you measure things in grams, that's going to make the most accurate label. The next thing is you need to know the yield amount. So if walnut cookies is this recipe and the yield is 24, you need to know the yield is 24. And lastly, you need to weigh the amount of 1 yield. So at the end, I'll weigh the amount of 1 cookie. So when should you generate a label? What we recommend is you don't wait until the end and do it at the beginning of the recipe formulation process. So why? If you start generating labels at the beginning of your formulation process, you generally know the nutrition profile. So if you're generating something and you see it's really high in calories and you're entering a health market, you may want to tweak your recipe by maybe cutting down on sugar. And if you're able to cut down the sugar and it still tastes good, then at the end of the day, you may have saved money and created a healthier product good for the market. At the end of the day, use the label formulation as a tool in your process. That you know the nutrient information and it helps you with your different markets. For targeting, there are certain things that are probably going to happen. If you're a baked good like a croissants and a lot of buttery pastries are always going to have high calories. And it's important for you to know that. So when you go into the market and someone looks at it and says, oh, this is high calories, you might want to market it as a treat. Or you might want to market this as something not in a health-conscious market. The other thing is, if you're using a lot of fresh ingredients, let's say for example you're making a salsa, salsas are going to have some really awesome micronutrient profiles. So they have high amounts of vitamin A, vitamin C, and when you go out to market, you can state like, wow, no, this is has a high amount of all these nutrients here. So when you sell it to your customers. Now for generating a label, you have several options available, and these are some of our competitors. The first is Esha, and they have a product called Food Processor. This is a product where you have to install the application on your computer, and there's a high upfront cost. There's also Menu Calc, where this is a web-based site where you buy a label and you can generate it as you need. For MenuTail, what we have is a subscription plan, so you can generate an unlimited amount of nutrition labels as you need, because what we feel is the label isn't just at the end of the process, but it's the duration of your food formulation. At the end of the day, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at contact@menutail.com or visit our website at www.menutail.com. Thanks for watching.